On the Consumer Alert, it's one of the most special days of your life, your wedding day. And for many, the best way to capture that day is to hire a wedding photographer. Well, that's what 3 local couples did, and now their weddings have come and gone, and they don't have the pictures that they paid for. NBC 10 consumer reporter Tracy Davidson has their story.
Wedding photos. They capture the most special moments on your wedding day.
The memories that you'll have of that day 10, 20, 30 years from now.
That's what these 3 couples thought they would have when they hired Joseph Montalvo of MGA Photography.
Looked through his albums, looked through his website, saw that they were pretty nice pictures.
He seemed pretty professional when we met with him, and the work that he showed us looked very nice.
So the Fosters, Feisters, and Dembecks all say they signed contracts with Montalvo for thousands of dollars, which listed the services that would be delivered to them shortly after their wedding. Almost 2 years later, the checks have been cashed, but the couple say Montalvo didn't exactly give them what they paid for.
He gave us our CDs with the pictures on it.
And is that all you have?
That's all I have.
Unedited raw CDs.
We got CDs with our proofs for our photos on them the day of the wedding, and we had gotten an 11 by 14 engagement print, and that's all we got from him.
After months of waiting, each of the couples says they tried calling Montalvo to find out when they would finally be getting their photos.
He calls me maybe 2 weeks later, and he says, okay, it'll be 2 weeks. I just have to wait for the albums to come in from overseas.
We were in contact back and forth around Thanksgiving, and he said, hey, I lost everything. I'll be honest with you, he kept telling me that he's really sorry, he wants to make better.
Excuses like your albums are out in China, they're coming back in, I'm having problems with my cell phone provider, that's why I'm not returning calls, my father's sick, I'm going to school, you name it, the guy had every excuse.
Even though they were anxious to get their photos, they say they tried to give Montalvo the benefit of the doubt and hoped he was telling the truth and would finally make good on his promise. But then, more time passed, with still no contact from Montalvo and no photos.
I kept calling him, and he never answered his phone.
One voicemail turned into 6, 7, 8, and I just never heard from him again.
We were calling him pretty regularly, and we weren't getting any response.
With nowhere else to turn, Brandon Feister says he contacted NBC 10's Consumer Alert team for help.
I feel like we just got played for fools, and it's embarrassing.
We tried contacting Montalvo several times. We called various phone numbers, emailed him. We even went to the address that was stated on the MGA Photography contracts. But someone else lives there now. So we did some more research and found from the Pennsylvania Department of State that MGA Photography is no longer in business, and Joseph Montalvo has since opened a new business and is now operating under Charles Joseph Photography. So we went to Montalvo's new business to talk to him. Frustrated by the events of the past 2 years, Joe Dembeck's message to other couples looking to hire a wedding photographer?
Maybe call a couple people as far as reviews and do a little more research.
I don't want to see other people getting taken advantage of it.
So what do you need to know when choosing a wedding photographer so you don't get ripped off? First and foremost, do your homework. Get references. Talk to other brides who have used the photographer. Also, never pay the entire bill up front. Make sure you understand the terms of your contract. Read all the fine print. And if the photographer doesn't have a contract, that's a big red flag to walk away. And if you feel you've been victimized, file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and your state's Attorney General's office. One more thing to note. Since airing this story, we have talked to 2 more couples who say they have been wronged by MGA Photography. You'll hear from them tomorrow at 5. Tracy Davidson, NBC 10 News.